G'day guys, Kelvin and Jason from the Cartoon Company in New Zealand. I haven't actually given Jason any instructions yet, but he's just worked out that we're doing something with this transmission. That's lovely blood that's coming out of that one, isn't it? Lovely. So, what are we doing? Jason, what are we doing?
I'm doing bolts.
What you're doing is you're changing the trans loom out of that one, okay? So you're going to take this loom here. So this is the Gen 2 loom out of the 4-speed. And you're going to pop this loom out and you're going to put it into this box here, which is in the vehicle. And at the same time, can you please change the shift inhibit switch and set that up, which, sorry, it's not that much of a fun job. And your, does it look at your hands? Hold your hands out. Yeah, those fat gorilla fingers aren't going to do there, so you might need my little hands to get in there. But you're going to change that shifter switch because it's the one with the bigger plug on it. And it's going to work because we've got those plugs and it's the more modern one.
You want me to do that?
Yeah, I don't know if I'd want to use that trans with the oil that came out of that, eh? Been a little bit of water in it, but that is just... yeah. It's not the worst one I've seen. There's still some reed in it. Okay, so he's already exposed the wiring loop. So you've got the two shift solenoids there and there. And you've got the line pressure and the lock solenoids down here. And this little fella here is the temp sensor, which is the extra 2 wires in the plug. Just a note, you see this one's got a 1U bell housing, or a U1. And this one has got the U2. This is the crown one with the slip joint. It's also got the different speed sensors. This one does have the 6-pin solenoid plug. And it has the early shift selector plug, which we can't get those plugs anymore. I haven't been able to find a source for them. There we have a crown trans. I've never really had a close look at this. We've got a U2 bell housing. We've got the 6-pin solenoid plug, but look, we've got the 2 holes. This one being UCF20 doesn't have the rear speed drive, so you can actually change that rear housing for an early one if required as well. You've already got it all apart. I've just been yabbering and you've got it all apart.
So what happens when you do work? Instead of talking to no one?
To myself.
Talking to yourself?
I'd be talking to myself. I'd be crazy if I didn't have a camera.
I certainly wasn't looking to it. Just because I might take a bit longer.
Yeah, I suspect this will take a bit longer. There's drive shafts and other stuff in the way, and it's not.
I've done my half.
Overly pleasant.
I've done my half.
Don't care.
I've done my.
I'm doing my wiring. You're doing the spanners. I'm doing the wires.
I've done the wires.
The other wires.
Done them.
I'm doing the other wires.
Ugh.
It really needs a new fuel filter too, but I'm not sure we want to go in there. It's been beach, eh? This has seen the beach, this particular vehicle, so it's not that pleasant under here. Can you check the transfer case and diff oils too, please? Right, we'll come back when Jason's got the pan of this one, and we'll slip the new wiring loom into it. So here's the wiring loom that came out of that UCF20. And you can see this unit here, there's a bolt holding it in, and it's O-ringed, so that whole housing comes out, allowing the wires to come out of the transmission. That's the temp sensor. The single pins are the shift solenoids, and the double pins are line pressure and lockup. We have a loom. Was there did the bracket fall off it? The bracket come clearly off of this one nicely. So that's the one with the 6-pin plug. I have actually got those plugs now.
Why am I changing it?
For the temp sensor. Remember we talked about the temp sensor? Because the temp sensor matches the ECU.
Use the ECU that matches the loom then.
Because we're putting a different ECU to control it. You want me to get my hands in there?
Yeah, you're too slow.
Oh, you've got it. Your fat finger's got it.
You picked your bloody camera up and went blah 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 blah. Doggy. On the camera. Doesn't get work done.
So the shift solenoids actually look pretty clean and tidy. And how was the oil?
Oily?
It doesn't look like it's black like the one you took the...
Yeah, the water in it. The milkiness in it.
A little bit of milky? Okay. Righto. Well done. So the ability to change looms means that early gearboxes can be used in the place of late boxes, and late boxes can be used in the place of early boxes. In the case of the early, using it as an early box, or transmission, or gearbox, I prefer transmission. It does mean you need to change the rear tail housing section. And it just unbolts. Undo the big nut, remove the drive shaft flange, undo the big nut, undo the 6 bolts and slide it off. And that means there's a lot more availability of transmissions if something fails and you need to swap and mix and match, because it's actually a very, very easy process to do. At the same time, it's a good idea to put a new trans filter in it, and if you use a gasket or just silicone. This one was a virgin, and they are just siliconed on from factory with a nice bead of silicone, and so that is perfectly acceptable. Changing the shifter switch or changing the plug, it also means between early and late transmissions. You can see our pan is all fitted back onto the truck. It's a bit dark now, but we're letting the silicone cure before we put new fluid into it. Lever off, big nut off, then the 12mm bolt, and you can see it's slotted. So I'll get you a plug so you can plug it on and adjust it correctly to get the inhibit switch working in the right spot. And also, like, the length of this doesn't matter. No, the length of this matters, but the length of the bar doesn't matter. So you can adjust your bars as long as your lever points when you're setting it all up is correct. So that's where people go adjust bars. It's called a crescent, I think.
Oh, no, fuck it. Oh, it's a poppy. It's the wandering poppy. Hello, poppy.
I don't actually know what size it is, to tell you the truth. I'm a farmer. The farmer in me comes out and I use a crescent. Yeah, that's it. You can actually pull these apart too, like they get bad contacts in them. So you can flick them apart and actually clean the contacts in them and brings them back to life. This is one of the things you don't want to see when doing this job. That is the nut, and as you can see there is the end of the shaft. That's the shaft going into the transmission. It goes all the way through, and some of them protrude like this, and some of them is actually a blanking cap over the end, just depending on the design. It really needs a new shaft in it, but we're going to come up with an alternative solution. The man who owns the truck also owns this gearbox. We're using his gearbox for parts, so we have a backup plan. So we've got the new one fitted up in here, which, as you can see, it's a great place to put it. And there's a 12mm bolt there, which we will put lots of lube on and anti-seize, and then we're going to set the inhibit switch on it, which again, I've got the parts to do that job. Can you see it over there? There it is, see? How about that? There it is. There's like a chassis tag sitting on the top of the gearbox. I don't really care. Get out of the way.
Get out of the way.
I'm only little. What's this? You're not going to get your fat fingers in there. There's no way you're getting your fat fingers in there. Nah. I can hear you. Oh, look at that. I can hear you tinking it. It's a chassis tag.
3BZ.
Probably needs that on this truck.
Maybe.
Wonder where that came off. I wonder if it's had anything else done on this truck, if the chassis tag can fall off, which is normally riveted on. We're going to check the continuity on the two big pins. The adjacent, it's a yellow, blue and a black wire on this particular model. We just happen to have a spare loom.
I won't click it all the way in because it'll be impossible to unclick.
Yep. I think you can do the big nut up fine.
Well, I'll just get the far.
But you can't do the 12mm up because we need to be able to rotate it. But we'll recheck once we've... So I'm going to put this in here.
I'll get the farmer's tool. It's already set. Look at that.
And you've got to bend the little tabs over on the... Did you put the locking tab on there?
It's a locking tab.
Cool. There's the locking tabs on there.
How tight does it need to be? About that tight.
Just nip, yeah. Nip, because what it does is it sort of squeezes those triangle bits, the bits on the end, it squeezes them onto the shaft. So when you push the lever, forward, takes it all the way to the back. Parks all the way at front, so the lever comes all the way to the back.
All the way at the back.
That's all the way at the back?
Yep.
Can you just...
No.
The plug isn't quite in A. Do
Yeah, I didn't clip it down because I didn't want to.
you want me to get a broken plug?
Just means you have to get your little hand and then undo it. Yeah.
Right. Give it a move. So you and park. Oh, you've got your lever off.
Why did I take the lever off with the plug in? Definitely in park.
Okay, move it. I'm 100% on them.
And the 100% on the right wire.
Yeah, I'm 100% on the correct wires.
Reverse, neutral.
It's a no-go, brother. Nothing. It wants to go every now and again. I think if you bang it through and bang it back, it might... That answers that question. That unit is not working as it should do. You know what we have to do, eh? You know how I said about servicing it? We'll give it a service. Hook it off, we'll pull it apart, we'll give it a clean. Bit of a recommendation, do it inside a container. No, not for the screw so much as when you take the lid off, there's like little shit inside. So put it into the container and then lift it off. I don't really want to film here because there's this wrong stuff on the bench.
Superior.
You did that deliberately.
Superior.
Your special throttle body adapter to drive-by-wire on one of those straight six things. You know the rules, eh?
Straight sixes are awesome.
We don't do JZs.
See, it's the one that we've got in the, up there. We need to take the camera for a walk.
Have you ever done this before?
Nope.
Is it going to stop you? No.
Does it look like it?
Carefully slip the screwdriver through. It's these bits here that I think can fall out. those two contacts, and then there's the little tiny spring in there. So you don't want to lose that little tiny spring on each of those contacts. So what you will do, basically, I normally just get some like electro clean and maybe a Scotch-Brite, maybe some emery tape. Just give each of these surfaces a clean and give them a clean, and I give the springs just a little tiny stretch, and then slam it back together. Put a bit of something in there, grease stuff in there, slam it back together. You can see there's just a bit of just a bit of crappy on those contacts there, just a bit of darkness here. Yep, don't hit it too hard. Yep, so just give it a bit of a clean up and we'll put it back together. It's that simple, eh? And you didn't lose anything yet. There's a beeping noise, Jason. There's beeping noise goes away. So
It's neutral.
it's neutral.
Reverse.
It doesn't beep in.
Park.
It's beeping again. I think that's working.
So just beep. No matter where you put it in park, it beeps.
Cool. Perfect.
But if you have it in the wrong place, it just tweaked it just a little bit, and it just as it moved, it started to beep for throughput.
Yep. As long as it gets, I can go through and check all the other gears if you really want to. So I've got.
I must reverse completely. There you go.
I've actually got in this plug. If I wanted to check every gear, we could. So we can do that if you want to.
It's in reverse right now.
Okay, so what I've got here, our ladder table, I'm going to grind the insulation off the end of those.
Yeah, they're a pain. It's a pain in the ass. Because I clipped it on.
Don't put them near your ass.
No, well, no.
Wrong place. Don't keep them away from your ass.
There's no continuity.
No continuity. So I'm going with the 12 volt, which I think.
I wasn't watching it. I clipped the clip on the physics. That doesn't have continuity with that either.
Yeah, it didn't have continuity. So you're in reverse.
Yep.
Yep. So I got. It's kind of handy having this. Where are you going?
I think that's neutral.
No, that's second. Go all the way.
Okay, that's low.
Oh wait, that might actually be neutral, to tell you the truth, because my writing looks like a 2, but it could well be a N. So
I'm right at the beginning now.
you're low.
Low.
Bring it back to second. 1 click back. Yep. 1 click back. Drive. 1 click back. Neutral. Reverse. Park. So we've got all of them. As we're moving the lever, this lever, it's continuity testing each pin. This is a really weird one because it's got a chassis tag on the gearbox, because it wasn't a it's actually got a VIN tag on it, on that box. Because this actually, see this box here, this is what we don't normally see. So this box is actually, this setup was not normally our normal JDM input. See, it's a 3040, so that's a 340. So a lot of the American guys see that box, where we normally see a 341, a 3041 LE. Okay. There are a couple of different gear ratios in the transmission, so that's something to pick up on, but that's a 340. So with that switch fitted, which is a whole lot of fun, isn't it? And we've continuity tested the switch. And we've got... What? My dog's helping my brother with the silage. We've tested the continuity with the multimeter. We're ready to put the lever back on. Put the proper lever back onto it, and it's all done. You've done the 12mm nut up nice and tight.
Just gonna keep that now.
You probably should do the nut and then just double check it, eh? Just to be on the safe side that it doesn't move. Would you check park neutral? Jace, clipping the lead to the other lead has got continuity.
Spark. That should be neutral.
Try again.
It's neutral.
It's not beeping.
Park.
Yes. Reverse. Neutral. No, it's good. It's good.
Shut up.
You're the one that wanted the beeping multimeter.
Yeah, I've heard it for long enough now.
You see, that's why I don't have a beeping multimeter, eh? That's why when I'm working on these all day, I don't have a beeping multimeter.
I like the beepy ones.
Yeah, try doing that all day when you're doing
Done
looms.
all day.
I don't like it. It drives me nutty. Nutty you.
It gives me the visual and the beeping. So
And the audio. Audio.
audio.
Audio.
Always a big stinging pile of side of the show.
Right. Leave it back on. Pull it good. So that shows how to set up the shifter as well. I probably should have done that one on a separate video, but we're going to put it all on the same one. And of course, as I said, we can use the early boxes in the place of a late box, or a late box in the case of an early box, by interchanging all the correct parts on these gearboxes, transmissions, and they work, okay? The one thing that'll catch out is the crown slip joint ones. They have a different speed sensor in the back, so that's a different story with those, okay? So I'm referring to the ones with the 3-bolt flange on the back. Very, very important. So I hope that's been helpful. Talk to you again soon. Catch you later.